news. It was the most powerful earthquake many San Diegans had ever felt, and tonight we are getting a look at the damage caused by the 7.2 quake centered near Mexicali.
The worst damage on the U.S. side of the border is in Calexico, more than 100 miles east of San Diego. That's where Alex Michelson joins us live. And Alex, we felt another aftershock here this evening, about 9:12, a 4.6. Did you feel it there?
We definitely felt it here. It's fraying some nerves here, but to be honest, there aren't that many people out here to be nervous about it. You can see that the downtown area of Calexico basically deserted tonight. All you see really are cops, Border Patrol agents, and the media. Now, this is one of the reasons why. Check out this building. It has a giant crack right down the middle of it. The crack itself almost looks like an earthquake fault line. Now, this, one of the many reasons that 12 blocks of downtown Calexico are shut down tonight. This was once a carport, and this once a fence. In downtown Calexico, glass, building cracks, and rubble are everywhere.
Just like Beirut in the 70s, you know. I was there.
It's a war zone.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, all you see is the broken glass.
In the geology world, they say that it's not earthquakes that kill people, but it's buildings that kill people. And here's a good example of that. This building, about 5 years old, all the windows intact, structurally sound. Just next door, this building's decades old, and nearly all the windows blown out.
It just was the most severe earthquake that I've ever experienced.
The city manager says much of downtown was built about 100 years ago.
It's not so much that they weren't up to code, is that the codes were less stringent back in the early 1900s through the 1930s and 1940s.
This was the front porch here, and it just totally collapsed.
Yes.
Arturo Brisno's cupboard full of dishes is now broken pieces in the trash. He's grateful, though, he wasn't inside. Because you were at the park and not here, you think that might have saved your life?
Yeah, the antenna.
In nearby El Centro, a shaky apartment foundation has residents still fearful for their lives.
I don't think I'd be able to spend the night in there again. I don't feel safe, honestly.
They're among the displaced staying at the Salvation Army relief post.
We don't have electricity and we don't have running water, so we came here because we were hungry.
Do we need to send a crew over to sweep up and clean up?
Coordinating that relief is Jerry Escueda. He's doing so, though, from home.
It's still swollen right in here.
After he was injured in the quake as well.
There was a big jolt, and I started flying out the door, and I landed on my knee and scraped down. Then I landed on my arm, and it scraped this, and I start rolling. And I'm going, you know, I was just totally in shock.
Back in Calexico, while some businesses are beginning to reopen, dozens more are still tagged too dangerous. Retrofitting them will be costly.
Tens of millions of dollars.
We're back out here live in downtown Calexico now. This red line is what marks a building to be uninhabitable. You can see this building behind us is one of those in bad need of retrofitting. And as we come out to look at downtown, you can see the area basically deserted. They hope to reopen this area in a few days, but they're in bad need of federal assistance. Senator Barbara Boxer plans on visiting this street on Thursday, and they hope to get some help from the federal government then. Reporting live from Calexico tonight, Alex Michelson, San Diego 6 News.
The change in a matter of seconds. Thank you, Alex. Well, many of us felt the shaking here in San Diego. It is a reminder of how important it is to be prepared for an earthquake, and that's what this tool, known as the Big Shaker, helps people do. It's a mobile trailer outfitted like a living room, and underneath there is a mechanism that with the flip of a switch can simulate an earthquake. It can go from a 4.0 magnitude quake all the way up to an 8.
So what steps can you and your family take to keep you safe, and how much more shaking and damage should we expect when the so-called big one hits? Our Courtney Dwyer has those answers and joins us live from the Embarcadero tonight with more. Courtney.
Yeah, Heather, today I spent a lot of time with Dr. Pat Abbott. He's a very well-known geologist here in San Diego. He calls yesterday's quake a good drill and warns that when the big one hits, it will be much stronger.
That was gnarly.
Oh, that was really scary.
This video was taken very close to the epicenter of Sunday's earthquake near Mexicali.
These things are moving back and forth.
Videos and pictures show just how dramatic the shaking was even here in Southern California.
That was a big earthquake.
I'm a native San Diegan, felt quite a number of earthquakes, but never one that lasted so long.
Geologist Pat Abbott says Sunday's quake was a good experience for San Diego in getting ready for the big one.
It's going to last twice as long, and the shaking will be what you experienced and half again harder on top of that.
Dr. Abbott also says everyone should take note of what happened in your home.
Did you see anything happening? Did you see something moving or was something shaking and you thought, ooh, that might fall?
In this Rancho Bernardo home, Dr. Abbott pointed out this table right away.
I like this. Everybody probably has something like this, a good solid wooden table. Pull that chair out of here, dive underneath that table, and hold on to the legs.
What he didn't like is what's above the table.
I find this very disturbing because that's heavy metal. It has sharp pieces on it.
Dr. Abbott says the kitchen is not a room you would want your family to meet in during a quake because of the sharp items that could fly out of the kitchen drawers and cabinets. He also notes if your TV is mounted on the wall, make sure it's been done securely. As for your bedroom, he says this should be the safest place in the house, especially since you spend a third of your life sleeping.
You don't want a ceiling fan to fall on you. You don't want to have things attached to the wall right over where your heads are.
And his last tip, if you've gotten rid of your landline, you may want to reconsider.
My cell phone did not work at all. Landline phone was working fine, and that's what I operated on. So I've become even more of a fan of keeping both.
Because as most geologists will tell you with the big one, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And of course, with that big one, all eyes are on the San Andreas Fault, which is just to the north of us. As for yesterday's earthquake, and Jim, I know you mentioned feeling another aftershock. We could continue to feel aftershocks for years. Live at the Embarcadero tonight, Courtney Dwyer, San Diego 6 News.
Courtney, thanks. And as a reminder, here are some important steps that you can take to be prepared for another earthquake. Identify safe spots at home and at work, such as under sturdy tables or desks. Establish an out-of-town contact that can help you keep in touch with local family members. In fact, you might have realized that right after yesterday's earthquake, it was tough to make a local cell phone call. Keep disaster supply kits in the home and in the car. Include a flashlight, batteries, a radio, water, and medications. And remember to bolt heavy items like china cabinets and bookcases to your wall.
Scientists at Scripps say that as of Monday afternoon, there were more than 200 aftershocks above a magnitude of 3 from Sunday's quake. But they say for a 7.2, which is extremely powerful, that is not unusual. Also, if it seems like we're having more big quakes of late, researchers say the planet actually has them with some frequency.
The fact that we have magnitude 7s in this part of the world is not really a surprise. And the prolific aftershock sequence that we're seeing, that's something that we typically see for earthquakes on that side of the border. I always say the big one's going to happen today, tomorrow, or 100 years from now, and all those have equal probability. So be prepared now.
Dr. Debbie Kilb says that the Earth has about 15 magnitude 7 or greater earthquakes every year, and at least one of them can be counted on for the state of Alaska. But those that make the news, of course, are those which occur close to populated areas.